You are listening to the daily news on Vihaba channel. This is our series of providing the latest updated news about all the business-related aspects in international business, especially the Vietnamese market. I'm Jenny, your host today. As the leading cashew nut producing region in the world, Ivory Coast is making efforts to increase production of processed cashew nuts. However, Africa's cashew industry is challenged by low value addition. In Tanzania, lack of cashew processing leads to huge losses. In that situation, a U.S. package project plans to have invest about $60 million in West Africa's cashew nut industry as the part of war to boost local processing. Ivory Coast also announced a $20 million USD plan. Thanks to good weather, cashew output in Nigeria has seen rising 20%. The first title is Africa's cashew industry challenged by low value addition. President of African Cashew Alliance (ACA) has identified low value addition, inadequate finance and skills, among others, as a challenge that have continued to limit the growth of Africa's cashew industries. Africa still processes less than 10% of its cashew nuts, despite being the largest producer of the commodities. Despite the supply chain obstructions caused by the pandemic, industries were able to show resilience owing to increased global demands, particularly from US, Europe, and Middle East countries. Processing factories in Africa are still challenged with the issues of inadequate access to the finance, lack of processing equipment, technical knowledge and skills, storage systems, among others. To address some of these challenges in the industries, ACA has developed diverse learning and information sharing platform for cashew stakeholders. Next year, ACA will introduce the ACA Quarterly Policy Round Table (QPR). Thus, the purpose of the forums is to develop sustainable and inclusive policy for the African cashew industries by offering an opportunities to improve the literature and strategic plan of cashew stockholders through cashew industries information. Through this forum, they will address issues around price mechanisms, value chains analysis, and sustainability, capacity building, and access to the finance. Also, there is an ACA annual conference held every September in cashew-producing countries. The ACA conference continues to be a great place to learn and network in cashew business world. It also allows stockholders to promote their brand, products, and services. The lack of cashew processing technology in Africa has caused a loss of profit loss for cashew growers, especially in Tanzania. The next news is lack of cashew processing leads to huge losses for Tanzania. A recent study by the Agriculture Non-State Actors Forum has revealed that the export of raw cashew nuts instead of kernels leads to heavy loss for Tanzania. The study has reported that in the 2020 and 2021 seasons, Tanzania had lost 216 billion ceiling. The cashew processing would have also created 63,058 jobs for the country, which faces a major challenge of unemployment. The studies point out that in the 2020 and 2021 seasons, raw cashew nuts were traded at the maximum price of 2,707 shillings per kilo, while kernel fixed a minimum price of 15,000 shillings per kilogram. According to the findings of ANSAP's report dubs, economic opportunities in cashew processing and costs of exporting raw cashew nuts, only 10% of raw cashew nuts is getting processed, despite 15% processing capacity of the country. Many of the units do not function due to obsolete technologies. The industry's players also suffered from limited capital access, barriers from taxation and regulatory frameworks, and inadequate market linkage with investors in major kernel importing countries, according to the report. The study has recommended setting up of agro-processing centers to accommodate a number of small agro-processing trade actors and strengthening of LGAs and small industries development organizations. It has also suggested linkage between farmers, tract farming to link farmers and processors, partnerships, and setting up supply chains for local processors. Besides, business also needs to improve and update technologies. Instead of just producing raw cashews for export, the export of processed cashews brings more benefits to the farmers. Not only that, it is possible to expand the markets for domestic and foreign investors with the latest technologies, thereby helping to optimize and efficient cashew nut productions. Realizing the difficulties and challenges in the cashew processing process, a project led by the United States has a plan to improve the value chains and brings in large amounts of money for business. The third title is West Africa's cashew industries gets $60 million in processing boost. A US-backed project plans to have invest about $60 million in West Africa's cashew nut industry as part of a work to boost local processing. Those proposed cashew projects started by a non-profit organization, TechnoServe, and supported by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, will create a fund to strengthen the commercial viability of processing in Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria's launch in October 2020. This project aims to act as a catalyst for cashew industries, strengthening and reviving existing processing facilities and facilitating needed working capital. While West Africa is the biggest cashew producer, only about 10% of supplies are processed locally, with most of the nuts exported to Asia for thus being shipped to elsewhere. Ivory Coast and the Prosper Cashew Project are trying to encourage more to be processed in Africa. These projects also say private sector's interest in sourcing from the regions is growing as the buyers look to diversify their sourcing footprint and reduce supply risk. Besides Ivory Coast, Nigeria is also a large cashew producers in the world. Thanks to good weather, the output of cashew nuts in Nigeria has increased significantly. The nut's title is Cashew Output in Nigeria seen rising 20% on good weather. Nigeria is the fourth largest producer of cashew nuts in Africa and sixth globally, with 160,000 metric tons per annum. According to the data from the country's agriculture ministries, this is a very potential country in production of cashew nuts. Under good weather conditions, cashew output is expected to increase. Nigeria's cashew output is expected to rise 20% on favorable weather conditions, which have helped boost output for 2021 and 2022 seasons to an estimated 192,000 tons, the national president of the National Cashew Association of Nigeria has said. Despite the COVID-19 Omicron variant uncertainty, accelerating inflation, increasing shipping and logistics costs, demand for Nigeria's cashew crops has remained strong on the backs of cashew being an immunity-boosting food. Cashew farmers in Africa's most populous expect price to hit an average of 500,000 Nigerians per metric ton on the decline in India's production and soaring demand for Vietnam and Asia. Cashew in Nigeria is usually harvested between February and June. Those farmers stock the crop and export it all year round. According to the data from the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), Nigeria owed 42.9 billion naira from cashew nuts export in the first 9 months of 2021, and 70% of total nuts for the period were exported to Vietnam. The bulk of Nigeria's cashew nuts and kernels are exported to Asia, Europe, and United States. Thus it is for Vihaba News here on Vihaba Podcast. Do stay with us because we will have many upcoming news on the agriculture sector. Subscribe for our podcast channels for latest news. Thank you for listening to the Vihaba News.